Hello, my friends, and my new friends, my old friends, my soon-to-be friends in the group. I'm so happy that we're all here, and I'm happy that my wig came back and that it's looking good today. A lot of good things. I want to actually introduce myself because I know a lot of you, like I said 3 seconds ago, but I don't know all of you, and you don't all know me, and so I just want to give you a little bit of background about who I am and what I do. So, I'm Shayna Kamen, as you know, because you're in the group, and I'm a strategic nutritionist. So what that means is that I teach people how to use simple and delicious foods as medicine. So I've helped hundreds of women over the past 8 years. I've been doing this about 8 years, maybe 9, 8.5. Overcome exhaustion and heal their immune system and boost their libido, heal IBS, all kinds of indigestion and heartburn, and overcome infertility, primary and secondary infertility, get rid of their PMS and any kind of other like PCOS, so hormone issues, insomnia. Trying to think of what else. There's a long list. I'll post it for you later if you want. But essentially what I do is teach people the most important angles to take so that you can be in super duper good health all the time without making yourself crazy using complicated methods, right? Because we're all eating every day anyways, and so my opinion is if you can just use the right strategy and feed yourself well, then you can just take advantage of what's on your plate and use all of that to your favor, especially because it's not harder. Definitely it's easier. And you feel so much better, and you can avoid, all the stuff we don't want to deal with later on in life, or God forbid earlier, any kind of diseases. We have so much that we can do to help ourselves prevent that. Okay, so that being said, today we're making this really awesome quinoa recipe that I even prepped for, so we don't have to be like the awkward of like, where am I going to put the phone? I need both hands, so I'm going to make that. And if you're a person who like doesn't really like quinoa that much, usually you'll really like this quinoa. The vast majority of people who say they don't like quinoa really like this quinoa when they have it at my house. Of course, again, it's super easy. And so we can just dive in. Hey, Esther. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around so you can just see my pan. Here's my pan in my kind of dirty kitchen. Yes, that's a clean pan. It's just stained. Yes, there's easy ways to clean it, but I can't be bothered because I don't care. Okay, so I'm putting in, here I have my extra virgin olive oil, and I'll post the recipe in a little bit when we're done, but I'm just pouring a bunch in. Again, this is a super good quality fat, and good quality fats are super important. I'm going to get into that more at the end of why they matter so much. It's not necessarily someone, most people just think fat is bad, and that's all they know about it. But the truth is that fat is really powerful and good. Okay, so we're going to start. See, I chopped up mushrooms, onions, and cilantro. Sorry, the light's not so good today. Okay, so I'm taking my onions that I chopped up, and I'm dumping them in. And I'm putting my flame on high. You don't have to do high, but I am. I just got a spoon. See, a spoon. A spoon. Just kind of gonna give it a few stirs, like that. Give it a little shake, and I'm gonna salt it because I want the flavor. Okay, today I'm using sea salt instead of the pink salt, because I'm out. It was supposed to get delivered yesterday, but they were late, so they're bringing it today. So I have this one on hand, so I'm just using it. It's not a terrible one, but it's not great. Sarah, can I use coconut oil? You can use coconut oil from the sense that coconut oil is a healthy oil, and we're not gonna it's not gonna be too hot for coconut oil. But I don't unless you like love coconut flavor, I don't know if you're gonna love the flavor of coconut with this recipe. I have other quinoa recipes and other lentil stuff that I use a lot of coconut with. This one in particular, I don't know how good it would be with coconut unless you're like a coconut lover. Like I know some people just love coconut and everything, and they're happy to do that. But The other thing is if you're using refined coconut, then it shouldn't have a flavor, so that's fine. But if you're getting the unrefined, which is the better one, but they're both good still, then trying to protect you guys from the sound. One time my husband said it was too loud while I was sauteing with you. If you're using the refined one, it shouldn't have the coconut flavor. Okay, so let me flip the camera for a second. You see it's starting to bubble and saute. I'm gonna leave it for another, like, I don't know, 30 seconds until they become translucent. If you guys have any questions while I'm talking, definitely let me know. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you that in advance, what I did is I soaked my quinoa. So soaking the quinoa definitely helps it be healthier and easier to digest. And for any of you who find that you frequently have trouble with grains, that they make you a little constipated, or that you just like don't feel so good when you eat them, often it's because you haven't soaked them. So ideally, all grains should really be soaked. No traditional cultures that had grains ever ate them the way most people do today, right? So all traditional cultures that had grains always either soaked or sprouted them first, or fermented them, right? So usually all three. And so for us, if you're able to soak them, and maybe that sounds complicated, but all it is you just like put them dry in a bowl and then put water on top and cover it just so that bugs won't go in. Unless you're into bugs, then that's fine. You can leave it uncovered. That's your jam. And you just come back in the morning and you'll see when you see my quinoa that the little I don't know what they're called, kernels, seeds, are actually much bigger than what you're used to because I soaked them and then I cooked them. So I cook it just in a rice cooker. Like I just put the quinoa in the rice cooker. Like I put 1 cup of quinoa and I put 2 cups of water. And then I just turn it on and come back when it pops up when it's done, so I don't even burn it. And it's easy for me to burn stuff if I don't pay attention, which I don't often. Meaning I often don't pay attention. Okay, look at our onions, looking good. Okay, I know it's been hard so far, but now we're adding the mushrooms. Here's my mushrooms. You guys got to see a little bit of my dirty living room. You guys are on first name basis now, me and my living room. Okay, so here's our mushrooms. Mushrooms take a lot of oil, which again is not a problem, right? Because we're using a good oil, and good oil is great for us. It builds up cell walls and strengthens our immune system. Our brain is made predominantly of fat, so all these things really matter. You're definitely not the only one who burns basic things because you forget. Anyone who's busy and is not like a foodie. Okay, can you hear me now, Mim? Now that I'm stepping away from the pan. I know sometimes when I stand by the pan and I hold it too close and you can't hear. Give me a thumbs up or just comment again if you can hear me better now. If not, I'll stand further away. But anyways, I mean, people burn stuff all the time because you don't, like, who has time just to stand in the kitchen? We always like, oh, I'm going to go to the bathroom, or I'm going to grab this, or I'm going to fill something out. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Mim. Okay. So what I like about this is it's really, it's kind of fast enough that I don't have time to let it go burn. So that's great. Okay, I'm going to go back over for a second to show. Okay, can you hear me if I hold the phone up like this? I'm holding it right close to my face this time. So I push the onions to the side. I'm stirring the mushrooms. And I'm going to add a little salt to the mushrooms. Ready? And if you're thinking, gosh, that's a lot of salt, then you're wrong. Okay, they're getting good. Now, if you want it to be, so you can hear me better, if you want it to take longer for whatever reason, I don't know why you'd want to do that. You could do it on a lower flame. I have it on a high flame. Oh, now you're having trouble with the feed, Laura? Okay, well, hopefully when I'm done, it'll be better for you. I just have it on a higher flame so it cooks faster, and then it makes me stand there instead of walking away, right? So then it doesn't burn. Anyways, I was saying about the quinoa that all traditional cultures always soaked. Want to see outside my window? Can you see the tree? Isn't that so pretty? I know. A 3-bedroom just opened up in our building, and we're in a 2-bedroom, and we almost took it, but it's on the 2nd floor, and we're on the 3rd floor, and I like our view better, so we didn't. Anyways, so glad to share that with you. What was I saying about quinoa? So when you soak it, and you take out the anti-nutrients. All nuts and seeds and grains all have in them anti-nutrients, and all traditional cultures always did something to get rid of them or to neutralize them. And animals that eat that eat grains at all, they always have more than one stomach. So they're fermenting it in their first stomach before they digest it in their second. So we only have one stomach, so we have to do it outside of our body. And it would behoove us to take note from traditional cultures who always did that. And in that way, it doesn't leach minerals from our body. If we just eat like a regular piece of whole wheat bread that hasn't been soaked or hasn't been sprouted or hasn't been fermented like in a real sourdough, we're actually going to lose minerals as we digest it, because in order to digest it, it like sucks the minerals from our bones. Not what we want. We don't want osteoporosis. We want to be healthy. Okay, here's the pan. Okay. And again, what's so awesome about this is like if it's a little overdone, a little underdone, you know my rules. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It'll be good. Okay, here's the quinoa that I made in the rice pot that I'm trying to dump in. I'm just going to use my hand. It's clean. You can do that at home too. Just don't tell your guests. Unless they don't mind. When I'm serving it to guests, I'm more careful. I don't know, I always wash my hands. I'm not worried about it. Okay, 1 second. Okay. I'm turning the flame down now, because now everything is cooked, and I just want to mix it all together. And we're going to add in our pretty cilantro. Isn't it pretty? I'm actually going to turn off the fire now. See? It's off. I'm going to stir it all together. How good does that look? You know, I have a light here. Ooh, did that help? Can you see better? It's loud. My husband says it's loud. Okay, well, I'll step away from it in a second. Okay. Well, that's it. It's done. If you try it... Okay. I'm trying to flip the camera out again. Okay, can you hear me better now? Now it's not too loud. Okay, here's my rules of thumb now. If you try it and you're just like, oh, it's kind of good, but it's not super good, I guess it's a good, then you need to put more salt. That's what it means. It means that the flavors that you want are there, but they're not strong enough. So you can add just more salt at that point. Just like, you know, make my dirty quinoa fingers really hot, I know. Add more salt. You can add more oil if you want, and kind of stir it all together, taste it again. What would I use instead of mushrooms? Why do you not like mushrooms? Okay, so this recipe in particular, the mushrooms give a lot of flavor, and I really like them. Even my husband, who says that mushrooms taste like you're eating, what does he say, slugs, likes this quinoa. So I guess maybe you could cut it up really small because it gives awesome flavor. Your husband doesn't like mushrooms either. I guess it's a husband thing. You can cut it up really small unless he's like a little kid about it and like can't handle it being part of the recipe. Other than that, you could just, if you want to do like onions and celery, I think that would probably still, I'm sure it would have made it. It's really good still. I would probably add in a little bit like of 21 seasoning salute. Yes, cilantro is the same as coriander. In the United States, we call coriander the dried seeds from cilantro, and we call the fresh herb cilantro, but I think that like in Europe and other parts of the world that you guys call it all coriander. So yes. Guys, I have 10 comments so far. Keep it coming. Facebook is applauding me. Anyways, okay, so I just want us to for a second now and tell you a little bit also. I was going to say also though that this comes out really good hot. It comes out really good cold. Often, like I'll make this, I'll serve it on Shabbat Friday night and then serve it again the next day. No problem with the translation. But I also wanted to give you as a little heads up. I don't know how many of you saw that I'm going to be offering, super exciting, a course, a simple little one-time webinar course. Laura missed the beginning. Yes, it'll be available for replay later. On fats. And I want to just tell you a little bit about why that's so important. So a lot of people have been asking me about it, which is why I was like, okay, I'm going to really do this. But also for maybe there's a lot of you who would be interested if you knew why it's important. So, you know, for me, when I'm checking, ingredients on things, especially like at the store and like crap that my, that my kids want to buy that I don't want to buy, really one of the first things that I checked is what fats do they have in there, because good fats are so good for you. Again, like I mentioned, our heart thrives off of good fats, and as we know, our heart struggles when we have poor quality fats. One of the biggest things that I address for any clients who have like arthritis or any kind of inflammation buildup is the quality of the fats that they're using, because good fats reduce inflammation and boost your immune system, and bad fats cause inflammation and suppress your immune system. So there's a huge thing going on. I've had clients who do nothing else the first week but swap out their fats and they lose 5 pounds in that week, right? So it makes a big deal. Your skin clears up real fast. So all of these things play a huge component. And what I love about it is it's so easy to do. Like if you're used to sauteing in canola oil and you just swap over to a better one, like that wasn't hard, right? That didn't like add anything more difficult to your life at all. So I'm going to keep your eyes peeled for that. It's going to be like an hour, maybe hour and a half webinar. I'm going to go really in depth. I'm going to explain, you know, how fats work in our system, how they affect the cell walls, and also, of course, really practical, because that's what matters most, is that we do it, about which fats are the best, which fats are the worst, and what they're good for. Like some are better if you keep them cold, some are better hot, some all over are fine. So I promise that I'll make it simple. You won't leave confused. You'll leave feeling like, damn, that was easy. I totally get this. Now I'm so empowered and I'm amazing. That's how you're going to feel at the end. So eventually, when I put it on my website as a product, it's going to be for $47, but I'm offering everyone in the group a early bird discount for $27 when it comes out, but it's not out yet, so keep your eyes peeled. And of course, once you have it, you'll have the replay, and it's going to be live, so whatever questions you have while I'm doing it, at least the first time it'll be live, then it'll be recorded. Whatever questions you have at that point, I will answer for you. And let me show you the quinoa one more time. Quiet, you can see it better. See that? It looks a little different than the one that I posted. When will it be? It's gonna be next Friday. I'm just finishing the last few pieces of the tech part of it, which is not, see how yummy that looks? Mushrooms and cilantro. It's gonna be next Friday when I do it, because I'm going to New York tomorrow. I might be able to do a live from there at my mom's house to go to see her pretty house. It's a little bigger than mine. Yeah, so I have to just figure out the tech, because I want to also send you guys a PDF of all the best oils listed, of also like where you can get them, where I get them, so like you don't have like a list and then it's like, oh, that's annoying, I don't know where they have it at my supermarket. I want to like show you guys where you can get it really easily online. And I'm figuring out how to be an Amazon affiliate so that I can just also post it all for you, and you can just like have it all listed on my website even. Or maybe it's, I don't know exactly how that part works yet, but I'm figuring it out. So once I get that done, I'm going to post and share it. And I'm really excited to share it all with you, because this is like such an easy thing that can make such a difference in the quality of your life and your kids' lives. So if you have any more questions, let me know. Oh, someone asked, did I ever add cranberries? My son likes raw cranberries. I don't usually use craisins, which is what I'm assuming you're asking, because craisins actually have a ton of sugar added to them. And generally speaking, I don't like adding in sweet things to my savory foods. I'm not anti having sweets, but in general, the way that it works with sweets is that the more you have them, the more you crave them, even if it's like from like a, you know, a natural source. So I'm not looking to like feed that part of my beast, right? The part of me that wants sweets, I'm not looking to make it stronger. So I won't like voluntarily be like, oh, let me throw some raisins in here, right? Because then it's just going to make me eat like 7 more servings than I need. Because like, you know, it's like when you pour Raisin Bran, for any of you that do or used to eat Raisin Bran, you just like keep pouring because you keep seeing raisins. So we all kind of do that with sweets regardless. And fresh cranberries, I don't know if that would really go in this, to be honest. I feel like when it's a, you know, kind of puckery flavor like that, we like to pair it with the sweetness also. And so again, that's something that I try and not incorporate, because I really try and work with your body. And one of the principles I really believe in is not just, you know, eating what you've learned, you know, in your mind as healthy, but getting back in touch with the innate intelligence that we have inside of our bodies, right? That animals know what to eat, and they eat it because they know, right? It's not because they worked with me, right? They have an intuition maybe, or whatever you would call it. They know what's good for them. And to be fair, they also don't have, you know, McDonald's, and they don't have like MSG and high fructose corn syrup messing with their cravings. But the fact of the matter is they know what to do. And the truth is that we also do. But when we eat really sweet things or things with synthetic flavors, it's very hard to hear that inner voice, so to speak. So the same way, like from a spiritual growth perspective, that it's important and super valuable to make time for quiet so you can hear your own like quiet voice inside of you, like what's important to me, what do I really want in my life. Your baby finally stopped crying. I'm so glad you're here, Kayla. So too with food, that if you struggle with knowing like what you really want, and you kind of think you like or you don't like anything, and you can't tell when you're hungry and you can't tell when you're full, one of the big reasons why that happens is because we eat so much food that I call it like as like a strong noise, like a soda. Like you can't tell when you're not thirsty anymore, right? They design Coca-Cola and Mountain Dew and Sprite and whatever your favorite is. They design it specifically to drown out your own internal voice, because they want you to buy more and drink more and get addicted to it. And so that's obviously like a stronger example, but the reason I got into it is you asked about if I add cranberries. So I try as much as possible to lean towards using foods that encourage and support developing a relationship with my own inner ability to determine what I want, right? Versus foods that are going to kind of what's the word? Like, bland it out? That's not the word. Blast it out? Drown it out. Drown! That's the word I'm saying. Okay, so true. Yes, it is. Thanks, ma'am. Yeah, I mean, having the spiritual connection is huge for me, because, I mean, the only reason that I care about this, create static, blur, blunt. Oh, you're guessing the word I was trying to say. Drown it out was what I was trying to say. Yes. So, I mean, yes, the spiritual connection is huge for me, because I'm not naturally a foodie. I was never into this as a kid. I used to make fun of my mom for buying organic and give her a hard time. I was like, oh, it's such a waste. Why do you spend on that? You know, now, of course, she calls me for all of her health questions. And I've taken care of a lot of her struggles, thank God. But the only reason I care about it is I see it makes a tremendous difference in the quality of my life and my family, and now all of my clients for the past several years. But yeah, I think it's really important to make the connection to what's meaningful to you. So it's like, as much as I care about health, and I so do, it's much harder for me to connect to that on a real level than if I bring it into the realm of relationships. Like for me, everything is relationships, you know? And so I'm actually going to get into that in a very deep, thorough way on the fats webinar, because I actually basically will compare good fats to unconditional love, and bad fats are like conditional love. Because unconditional love, basically you crave it, but when you get it, it satisfies you. And when you're eating foods that are just like not healthy and not serving you, even if you're addicted to them and you crave them, no matter how much you have, you never are satisfied. So we kind of talked a lot about a lot today, but I hope you guys enjoyed it and it was meaningful to you. And I will post the... You're laughing at me. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I'll post the link to the course when it opens, so you guys up on them as soon as I can get it up and running. And whoever wants to tell me they're so proud of me, please do, because me figuring out this tech is a huge deal. It's like a whole new learning curve, but it's really awesome, and I feel good about myself. So okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you all. And Kayla, yes, you missed the recipe. But I'm gonna, as soon as I sign off, I'm gonna post it into the group so you'll be able to watch it from the beginning. And in the comments, I will post the recipe also. Thanks, Laura. I'm proud of me too. Okay, I wish you guys all the best. You should have tremendous success in your day and in your life and in your health. And I love you. Okay, bye.